Yo, what's up? Good morning, good morning. Let's see if we can complete the action system today, the rework of the action system, or if we're gonna have to extend our deadline a bit. We'll see. Let's not waste any time, so let's jump right into it. I think we managed to properly implement action interaction hold at the end of last stream, and we also tried it out having it like this. So this is pretty much how it's going to look from now on. Instead of a entity having multiple different monobehavior components like this, let's see if we can find. Oh yeah, so like for this one we have yeah, for this one we have, for the character currently we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 different action components, all of them being mono behaviors. In the future we're just gonna define them like this instead. So we have an action list of all the actions that this entity can do. This action list is currently placed in playable entity. We're gonna move it to action handler soon. And then each entity is also gonna have a interactable list, and this is how each entity can be interacted with. So by default, we have something like, previously we added some components here on awake in entity, for instance, focus and inspect. So most stuff should be able to be focused and inspected. I think we're gonna skip I think we're not gonna auto add anything this time around, which means that it might be a little bit tedious. So for every entity prefab, we're gonna have to define focus and inspect, and so on and so on. But I reckon that we will see a few. So an object might have a focus point, and an object might have a, I don't know, inspect animation, or yeah, like the setup for these might vary between entities. So what we're going to start by doing today is we're going to implement action handler. Game actions action handler. And this one is going to be mono behavior. Yeah. So what do we have? We're gonna need to have editor extensions. And then we're gonna need to have this. Because an action handler is gonna have a private We want this as an array. So these are the actions that this, so the entity that has the action handler attached to it, this is the actions it can do. And then I reckon we want to have a private dictionary. Game.actions type. We just want to basically, yeah, maybe this is good enough. We just want to instantiate it like this. I reckon we want to do, I think we also want to do instantiate or something. Yeah. But if we do, we want to send this one in. But do we want to do host? Why did I want host here? Yeah, we need body definition, animator. Yeah, we need a lot of stuff from the host entity. Yo, what's up, Dan? Welcome back, welcome back. Okay, so each action needs to... Or rather, we need to... send entity down to each action. I don't know if I want to, like, if I want to inject entity in here in action handler, or yeah, maybe we do. So what if we do it like this instead? Do like this. And then we have instantiate dependencies. Yeah, we need this, I reckon. Add listener to action. Yeah. Action handler instantiate. So here we instantiate the action. We add it to the misspelled dictionary. And then unfortunately, I think, let's see here. Actually, maybe not. Yeah, we're gonna have a second for each here where we set up the dependencies, I think. Yeah, so we're pretty much gonna do for each. I wonder, can perform action. I don't think we want to instantiate this one if we can already perform it. Nah. For each. We don't need to have game.actions here, but I just think it looks a little bit better for now. We don't need a S here, I don't think. So for each action we actually have in the dictionary, we do for each game actions dot dependency in action dot dependencies. And then we do if dependency dot primary, yeah, we named this primary type. So we can just do if can if we can't perform primary type, and we continue. Otherwise, we can actually set up this dependency. We're going to do dependency, add listener to action. Add listener to action. Yeah, I want to rename that one as well. I think that's how we want to do it. Don't think we want to do anything in update. Okay, so what I'm thinking about now is that we're gonna have it like this: private list action active actions. One sec. And in this list, we're gonna have all of the actions that are currently processing. So we're gonna have something like this. Handle active action, instantiate, add, and then we want to do action dot on process change, add listener, handle active action. So every time an action goes from to processing or from processing, this method will be called. And here we pretty much just want to do if action dot state is not equal to type state, I mean processing, and active actions contains action. Then we do something, otherwise we do something else. But I wonder if I want to do else if, yeah, we're gonna do else if action.state is equal to state.processing. Okay, so if this is the case, we want to remove it from active actions. If this is the case, we want to add it to action, or we want to add it to active actions. Because the idea then is that we're gonna have an update here. If active actions, I think we can do it like this. For each action dot process, I think. I mean, in one way, I like having an action handler that keeps track of the different actions. But I also love the idea of like actions being self-contained or whatever. Dan, what are you trying to do? Hopefully I can show you real soon. But I'm trying to build like a state machine for my actions in this game. We're gonna try it real soon, I think. Or we're gonna try focus and We're gonna try focus, inspect, and hold. Yo, what's up, Wormius? Long time no see. Focus, inspect. Yeah, we don't do anything here. Inspect we do, however. Let's see. Offset. Information providers, yeah. Okay, so we're gonna create, before we try this, we're gonna create interactable inspect, the new version, and interactable focus, the new version. In focus, we pretty much don't do anything right now. But inspect we do. This is a little bit over the top, having this one here. Do I already have... Yeah, exactly, yeah. Okay, so let's add, what was it? Focus and inspect. I'm still wondering about the fact that if I want to define, or if I want to add inspect and such myself. Yeah, probably. Okay, let's create interactable inspect and interactable focus. Yo, good morning, Kalino. Yeah, we're gonna fix that right. Okay. Interactable hold. Oh, yeah. Yep. Sorry. We need interactable. I wonder if I want to do... Yeah, I might want to extend this one eventually. We're going to go through the namespace as well, because I wonder if I want to have game.actions.interactions.interactables, and that's where we have inspect. Don't like naming it interactable inspect like this, but yeah, we'll see. This name here, I actually think we're gonna skip that one. Okay, correct. Type inspect. What more do we want to do here? Start interaction, cancel interaction. Maybe. We highlight the game object, but this is also... So this is specific to the playable entities, and we have it packed into the old action interaction. That's bad. So we're gonna fix that. But force focuser, focus. Do we actually do anything with whatever we're focusing here? I don't think we are. No, not at the moment, no. I don't know if we're gonna do it in... Actually, okay, that's focus. Now we're implementing inspect, yeah. So let's see here. Tractable inspect. We handle state like this. Get information providers. Why is this one public? Action interaction. Why would I like to do it this way? I mean, why shouldn't we just do the string join in interactable inspect? I think we are. In the future, though, we're gonna do... so for now, it's just gonna be joining strings, but in the future, we're gonna have some information object or something like that. It's going to be sprite and text. A sprite and text pair at least. What the hell? Okay, information. Nah, but this we want to skip this time around. But instantiate. Instantiate being virtual is most likely temporary, so this we can't do. We're gonna need it to be not temporary eventually, so we can do. I don't want to have it like virtual like this, but I still want to have it public. We're gonna public void instantiate entity host. This host is equal to host, and then we have protected. What did we call it in action? I think it was specifics or something like that. Specifics, yeah, maybe. So we set host, and then we do instantiate specifics. At this point in time, we're gonna have specifics, so we can do interactable hold, instantiate. We'll remove this one. Instantiate. Have I misspelled something? No. Protected override void instantiate specifics RB. Okay, nice. But this one we can eventually remove because we're going to get the RB from the entity itself, not like this. Or, yeah. Okay, so in a inspect, we want to do we want to do this. But this is not a mono behavior anymore. So we don't have this game object, but we do have entity or host. Host.gameObject.get components in children. I information providers. We don't need to have this as a list, do we? We need to have it as Now we should be able to do order by on an array as well, right? But we need... Yeah. Right. Okay, but we need it as a list. Okay. We're not gonna have this method anymore. Instead, we are gonna have... let's have it as public string for now. Get inspect string. And I want to copy the logic we had for whatever was calling this one. And it was here. So we do string join visual information. Get inspect string. Now we need a point as well. Get information. Oh, is that why? But that's okay. Get inspect string point inspect point. I don't know, when it comes to inspect, I don't know if we're gonna have anything specific for start interaction and cancel interaction. I don't know if we're gonna start some, I don't know, animation of some kind or something. I don't know. I wonder how confusing / nice it would be by naming this. So this one is in namespace game actions interactables inspect, and whatever we send in here is in namespace game.actions interactions.inspect. So interactions.inspect and interactables.inspect. Maybe. Okay, so that's it for inspect. I think action, interaction, inspect. This is the old one. Yeah, this one is not done, so we're going to implement this one as well. So right now I think initialize, process, finish, interrupt, maybe even instantiate specific. A lot of these are going to be empty. But let's see here. We definitely need a visual information. So this is the object that we show. So it's a little box currently, I think, 2D box. Visual information. Allow self-interaction. This is something we did previously. I don't know if I want to... I don't know about this one just yet. We'll see. So start here. Start is basically going to be our instantiate specifics this time around. So down here. And we just create it with default visuals, host name and host name for now. Okay, so that's this one. Base start, we don't do that anymore. Start processing. So what do we do here when we start processing? We do interactable inspect. So this is where we cast it. And then we do handle interaction. Then we do visual information show. And then we start the coroutine. The inspect coroutine right now is that we just update the text. Okay, so this is very... Okay, this is good. This is good. Set text and update transform, point position, and the point in question. Yeah, we're gonna have to solve this point as well. Point. Here we have it. Public virtual point, new point. And if we have interaction, action interaction. Entity provider. Don't know just yet about this point. So it's basically, this point is, so for the playable entity, this point would be the mouse pointer in the current build. For a creature, this point would be a ray from the eyes forward, I guess. My question is, what are we using it for here? Set text and update the transform. We set it to point the transform, the position that is. Yeah, we set it to exactly where the mouse pointer is. I don't really care about that too much. Yeah, I think we're gonna fix it like this. We're not gonna set it to point position. Why the? Let's see here. I'm starting to question this whole point stuff. I want to see where we use it. Action interaction. But then it. Yeah, I think we need it. I think we're using it for. So when we inspect the terrain. When we inspect the terrain. We need to know exactly what position we're inspecting, basically. So each point of the terrain has different data attached to it. And so when we inspect it, we want to make sure that we get the data for the point we're highlighting, so to speak. But I wonder if that is the only... yeah. Yeah, what the fuck, we need it for current place point as well. Definitely. Okay. So how do we want to handle point this time around? Can we handle it in a nicer way? So in the old system, we had dependencies, and dependencies could be of type or could be provider enabled or disabled. Which basically means that, like, if it's a provider, then we want to get the object we want to do something to, we get from... We get from... whatever action is the dependency. But this, yeah, I think we want to do something similar this time around. I'm not too sure I want to... The dependencies are no longer built in such a way that we have a reference to the action in question. That's interesting. let's put it this way, not all of the interaction and actions need a specific point like this, I don't think. So we're going to implement it in such a way that we don't need it at all times. How... Yeah, we're gonna need to be able to send messages between actions. Messages that are a little bit more complicated than is processing or not. But then again... Dependency. Oh, maybe we can do it as interactable dependency. Public class interactable dependency. Actionable dependency. Change this. Yo, what's up, HG? Can you restart? I just joined. yeah, 1 sec. Okay, I really want to be careful where and how we implement this point messaging, because I don't want to destroy the beautiful, beautiful system we have in place currently. What's the game called? It doesn't actually have a name currently. Basically what it all comes down to is that we have an interaction place, terraform as well, I think. Point. This one is also very much tied to positions, but that's okay. Okay. Terraform, get focus terrain base, and then we have terraform brush. Terraform brush, change brush position, new terraform point, update terraform point. So where do we call this one? Oh, yeah. Okay. We solved this with a little bit of a hack in the old system. Okay, that's good to know. We can definitely make it better this time around. HG, how long have you been coding? Like, what do you mean? Like, since I wrote my first line of code? Because that was... And what counts as first line of code? I probably wrote my first line of code when I was like 14 or something like that, but it was very sporadic. Didn't really do anything at all. Started being a little bit more consistent with it when I was 21 maybe. Which is 12 years ago, something like that. Okay, so basically what we want to do is we want to get a point, focus, or... Okay, let's try and be specific in the beginning. So we want to get a point from focus most of the time to the different interactions. So when we terraform, we want to know exactly where we are terraforming, and that's going to be the focus point. When we place something, we want to know where we're placing it. That's going to be the focus point. Pick up, don't need no focus point. Inspect needs a focus point. Focus is what creates the focus point. Equip, consume, and collect don't need no focus points. So let's start writing some stuff here. I just want to comment some stuff. Notes. And let's put it down here. Point solution. A few interactions depends on getting a specific 3D in the form of a point. In most cases, maybe all, one sec. Okay, we have some lightning and shit going on here, so if the stream goes down, you know why. A few interactions depends on getting a specific 3D position in the form of a point. In most cases, maybe all, this point will come from focus. Important to note, not all interactions needs this point. So if we could avoid having it in action or interaction, that would be beautiful. So I wonder if we want to have it like so we have an action list here, we have a hold definitions. But yeah, we don't have any dependencies because we're not setting up dependencies like that anymore. We're setting it up like this, and that's beautiful. I wonder if we can do something similar here. So instantiate dependencies, instantiate can we communicate the focus point to these other interactions? Probably probably with some sort of interface on, honestly. Point interaction point point emitter, point source, point source. I don't know. I'm a little bit annoyed. Like in some, it is basically a dependency. It is a dependency. But it's not similar to the current dependencies. The current dependencies are basically, we just care about if it's true or false or fulfilled or not. This time around, we actually want something as well. But then again, HG, by the way, how far along are you with the game? Sorry, I missed that question. I don't know, it's hard to estimate. Not too far along. Yo, what's up, Cooler SK? So the stream works today. Nice to hear, nice to hear. And welcome back. Hope you had a nice summer. HG, by the way, if you're interested in various parts of this project, I've got some nice devlog videos on my YouTube you can check out. I have been watching them. Oh, I appreciate it. Cooler SK, I've squandered my summer. I don't even know what that means. I hope it's good. So if we take a look at the if we take a look at, so this, in most cases, maybe all this point will come from interaction focus. I don't know if this is true though. If it was, we could simplify it a bit, I guess. HG, the terraforming is really impressive. Thank you, appreciate it. Yeah, we're gonna do some really cool stuff with it eventually, I hope. Cooler SK squandered. Okay, yeah, that makes more sense. I was wondering if that was what you meant. How come? But I wonder, okay, I think... All actions, or at least interactions, are gonna do something with a point. But do I want to define it here? Do I? Appreciate the follow, HG, by the way. Cooler SK, because I didn't even take a single sun bath, not to mention getting out to water. Okay, then I know what you mean. As long as you did something you enjoyed, I guess. Like, before the summer, I told myself that I would go out and swim a lot, or bathe. But the number of times I did it this summer, I think I can count it on one hand. But I still had a pretty great summer anyway, you know? The Cooler SK, so how's the kid in the desolate land of sandy snow doing? Have you located the only friends of his in that place? The apple, pear, and cherry. We actually have a leek now as well. And if you want to refer to as the shovels, they might be friends as well. But you will be glad to know that as soon as we have this action system in place, we're going to move on to the creatures. So hopefully soon we will have some nice AI agents walking around. HG, the title says creature collecting. What kind of creatures? Yeah, we don't have any creatures just yet. But it's gonna be like fantasy creatures. I guess like Pokemons. We're gonna get to that real soon. The first creature we're planning on is some sort of static stone creature, because we want to, when we implement these creatures, we want to start easy, right? With as little custom animations and stuff as possible. So we're just gonna have a little bit of a stone creature. Legally distinct Pokemon, yeah, exactly. And then, of course, I think the second creature is going to be, you know, one of these blob-like creatures you see in every RPG. Very similar to Slime Rancher blobs. Legally distinct Slime Rancher blob. I think I want to go... So, I don't want my creatures to be as similar to Pokemon's as Palworld's, or most of Palworld's creatures are. Some of them are extremely similar to Pokemon, honestly. But yeah, we'll see. Need a bunny night. Maybe. I have a little bit of a list here of different creatures that chat has proposed in the last couple of years. I think the most similar thing between Pokemon and Palworld is style in which creatures are done. Oh, didn't they have, like, some of them are extremely similar to Pokemons, and I know one of them is extremely similar to that Ghibli Torrido. I don't know what it's called, but yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, some of the Palworld creatures are extremely similar, but like distinct enough that you would probably couldn't be sued. Totoro is what I'm referring to. One of the creatures in Palworld looks extremely similar to Totoro as well. So not Ghibli Torrido, but Studio Ghibli's Totoro. Wormius, many Pokemon look like Totoro. That might be true. That might be true. But bottom line is, like, yeah, I agree, they are distinct enough, but like, they are similar. It's pretty apparent that they took inspiration, and like, I'm totally fine with inspiration, you know? Okay, I'm thinking about doing something This is annoying, this one. It's a good thing to be inspired by childhood game to make your own game. Must have been heartbreaking for them to get sued by it. Yeah, I agree. Wormus, there's also a point where there is a Pokemon for everything, so anything other than a monk with a gun is going to be the same animal as a Pokemon. Yeah, that is true as well these days. I don't know how many Pokemon exist. Is it more HG? I was just about to say, like, more than 1k different Pokemons. Yeah, it's insane. And yeah, Cooler SK. I don't even know. Honestly, I don't think the orb. It would be extremely weird if they lose. Lose to Nintendo in that dispute. HG, this game Koromon, I just started playing, used like a frisbee trap. Okay, yeah, people are getting creative out there. Oh, did they have to change already? Damn. Okay, yeah, that's weird. Very weird, honestly. Cooler SK, so what will your collection method be? I'm actually we're gonna be nice to our creatures. We're gonna attract them, let them come to us, you know. Put out a good piece of meat and let them just come and get it. And if we are going to, I don't know if I want to have that option, but if we want to if we want to capture them, I would go the like classical style with, you know, from old school cartoons, where you have a cage, tipped over, and if they walk inside of it, you tip it down over them. Something like that. Maybe trank darts as well, I don't know. Not baseball bats. Should use like a card that you throw at them and it sucks them in like a drawing. I'm wondering if I've seen that somewhere. Something very similar, at least. Pretty cool. Or maybe it was the opposite. Someone throws a card and it summons a beast. Yeah! It's obvious. Yu-Gi-Oh! Yeah, yep. Okay. I'm thinking about doing it very similar to we did previously. We're just gonna have a point here, and and then we fetch the point from, but we can't fetch it from dependency. God damn. But okay, we're gonna do it like this. Yes. Okay, I think we're gonna do it like this. Action handler, where do we have it? Or we can go to action. I think we're just gonna do it like this, actually. Initialize, process, finish, interrupt, and then we're gonna do, I wonder if we want to send it in here. Process point. Or is this a bad idea? HG, do you have a Discord? The link listed is expired. Fuck, is it? Huh. I think the link over on my YouTube shouldn't be expired. Thank you for letting me know, by the way. We're gonna update that after the stream. But let's see if I can find it. Try this one. I think a few people joined yesterday using this link, so it should be okay. Because I'm pretty hopefully it's not the same as I have on my Twitch, but I'm pretty sure that I put them as like indefinitely. Okay, but anyway, this is one solution to solve this. It's a little bit ugly. It also says invalid. Hmm. The fuck? Okay, let's try this one then. So having, like, sending in the point here is one solution. I don't like it that much. As I said previously, I like my actions to be, I want to make them as self-sufficient as possible. And if we have them like this, so in action handler, we're gonna have a reference to whatever is the point spawner or point creator, and then we send it in. I don't like this at all. We could have action dependency. Yeah. Okay. I think we're gonna have it like this. We are gonna introduce game.action dependency. We're gonna introduce this one. I need to write complete, but we're gonna introduce something else here. HG, I subbed on YouTube, probably where I will see your streams mostly. Thank you, I appreciate it. I'm gonna go back to work learning Blender. Oh, enjoy. Fucking love Blender. And thank you for stopping by. Appreciate it. So we're gonna introduce a game action provider, I think. But we might want to rename it a tiny bit. Basically, what I want to use this one for is sending information between actions that we need or that might come in handy. So we're gonna have we're gonna have provider, and this one, oops, is gonna be a abstract class. Do we really need because if we take inspect, for instance, instantiate dependencies, this is where I want to instantiate provider, then I guess. Yeah. Instantiate provider. Yeah, let's try it like this. Let's fulfill this. Let's walk the line and we'll see where we end up. With a good or bad system, we'll see. Game action provider. Or no, the action or link maybe, or reference. Like, is it bad action reference? Let's try this. What I want to do then is public type and I'll do get private set public game.action reference. We can probably write this in. Let me just save this one and let's write it here from the get-go. Basically, we're going to be able to define references to actions. So for one action to work apart from dependencies, we're going to have, like, if we need something more specific, we're going to do a link. So we're going to do a action link or action reference. Action reference, yeah. Public class action reference. I think I want to name it just reference. Like this. This would work nicely. If all actions had points, I don't want that to be true. But maybe, okay, wait, we can do it like this, I think. Public type, and then we do wonder if this is weird. Public abstract class reference. We just have a type here, and then we have public class focus reference. Do we want to be that specific? I think it's weird. The idea is that we might have some other references we want to set up. So we want to make it a bit generic. So during setup here, when we instantiate all actions and link them and so on, then we link focus, or in this case, then we link inspect, for instance, to focus, or so that inspect can fetch or get some information from focus. One sec. Target, 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 target. Game object collide empty. Yo, what's up, GDs? Hope you had a great summer. Do we want to be... Actually, do we want to change this one to... Do we want this one to contain the position as well? Do we? Maybe we do. That would be very nice. GG's back to business. Yes, indeed. Back after a pretty long summer break, honestly. Feels great to be back. I released my inventory asset a couple of months ago. Yeah, I think you released it... I think you told me you released it just before I went on a hiatus, didn't you? I have a vague memory of congratulating you as well. Or maybe it was that you sent it in, but it hadn't gotten approved from Unity just yet. Oh yes, it went through the whole process again. Did you have to update something or... Okay, so here is the solution, I think, but I've said that multiple times today. But if we take a look at inspect, hold as well, this one I mean, when we start holding something, base target get interactable. Yeah, here we have the main problem. Base.target, we never set this one. Protected set target, not here. Not in action interaction. and not in these specifics either. No. Okay, so this is actually the main problem. So the same way we're getting this one, we're eventually gonna get the I don't know, target as well. So action dependency. I wonder if we can set, if we can create can we create actionable, interactable dependency. I wonder if we can create some dependency that sets the target pretty much. So something like this: public class fetch target dependency is fulfilled so actually I was mid refactor when it was first approved, and it took me a while to submit a new version. I get it. I had something similar when I submitted my first game to the Apple App Store. Just when it was about to be approved, I found a minor bug and needed to fix it, and then go through the full improvement process again. But yeah, that's how it is. So fetch target dependency, update fulfillment. Yeah, this sucks. We can't really add listener to action. Yeah, I think we're going to rework this a little bit. So instead of having dependencies that just check stuff, we want to have dependencies that set stuff as well. Is interactable dependency, is actionable dependency. So we need to do is fulfilled. We're gonna do we're gonna do we send this one in? Oh, I'm really wondering if I'm doing the correct thing here. The dependencies are quite nice currently, but they are... What's so nice about this implementation is that we don't keep a reference to the action, which I guess we're gonna need when we want to target. There must exist some nice way to communicate between actions that I haven't thought about just yet. State fulfillment. I mean, we could add a reference to the action in question here. I'm not a very big fan of that. But then again, we add the listeners here, check dependencies. On change. So I wonder if we want to do this. Type primary type. We're just going to rename this one type. Fulfilled. We're going to keep fulfilled. So type fulfilled. On change, we're going to keep dependency. Yeah. And unfortunately, we're going to do it like this. Action reference, get private set. Add listener to action. We're going to rename this one to add action reference. And here we do. So it's a little bit similar to what we had previously, but this time around, I think we can do a little bit more with this. Yo, what's up, Hawk? But update fulfillment. This one right here. We're gonna rename this one protected on process change. One sec, do we actually send yeah, we send this that's actually so maybe we don't need this reference. We're gonna wait with this one a sec. Protected abstract. Abstract class dependency. Yeah, I think we're gonna do it like this. Hinkle, hey, I've got an off-topic question that I'm curious about. How do you handle access to global systems in your project? Do you use singletons, a service locator dependency injection, or something else? Currently, I use singletons. So we have 2 singletons right now. I try to keep them few. So we have an input handler. It's just a custom layer between the input we get and I want to process it some before I send it out to my components. And honestly, I'm not entirely sure if there's a better way to handle this one. And then we have Game Data Manager. This is currently just also something I'm not entirely positive about. But all my attributes in this game are defined as scriptable objects pretty much because we want to... It was a whole thing. But that means that if we want to fetch them in some way, we need some global function to get it from. So this is a singleton, but I see it more as like a way to make scriptable objects static and easily fetchable, pretty much. I'm rambling a lot, but I try to keep or have as few global systems as possible in the project. If I do need one, my usual go-to is singleton. But I'm very curious about, I'm very receptive to other ways of doing it, because like this kind of stuff, I'm still very unsure about a lot of these things. I know that some people are extremely against singletons and like always go with dependency injection in some form instead. But I just don't know if that's the way. Yeah, so this game is also gonna have like an incredible amount of different attributes because it's gonna be pretty much a simulation, so we need a lot of attributes. I mean, we're gonna have taste, and I didn't really like having the enum set up. I would like to have it like this, and here we can have sprite references and model references and whatnot. So I like the idea of defining attributes like this, but it made it a little bit harder to work with in code, and that's why we need this one. I can show an example. Game Data Manager. So I want to be able to do something like this, pretty much. So pretty much what we do here is we take the weight of a rigid body and we repack it as an attribute, a weight attribute. And a weight attribute also has a weight definition where we have sprite image, unit, all of that information we need to properly work with it and present it to the player. But yeah, it works for now. GDs, I also prefer singletons, but it's not really the quote-unquote Unity way. I wonder what the Unity way is. Like, when I started dabble in Unity back in 2017 or something like that, I started, like most people, by watching some official Unity tutorials. And I think they used singletons pretty, I don't want to say excessively, but they used it quite a lot in those. Okay, so we are in the process of redefining these dependencies, making them a little bit more generic, I guess. Hopefully we don't need to have this one, but update fulfillment, we're going to change this one to handle action reference process change. This one is going to be fully abstract. We don't need to rename it anymore. Fulfilled. So we're going to remove this one as well. And this one as well. So what I want to have now is interactable dependency. First of all, before we change these two, we're going to define public abstract. No, not abstract. Class is processing dependency. Is processing dependency. Or maybe state dependency. Public state dependency. I want to is in state dependency. Is in state dependency. As much as nowadays it's all SO. ALLSO. I don't know if that is an abbreviation or something. What is that? Is in state dependency. And we want to send in oh fuck, I think this is a great way to do this, actually. But I've said that multiple times today. Or some other stuff that didn't work out. All scriptable objects, all was not an abbreviation. Okay, now I get you. I haven't done too much with scriptable objects, but the few things I have done with them, I've really enjoyed it. I think it's a great way to work with data. The only thing I don't like is that we don't have a simple way to get them in game or in the game code. So for instance, if like I want to get like this scriptable object definition of age here, I have an ID string, display name, unit, bounds and stuff like that. I want to be able to reference this one in code easily. I don't really know how to do that, hence the game data manager. But like if that's pretty much the only backside to scriptable objects for me. Like usually you can write, or somewhere in the game files you might have public, oh what the fuck, I don't even know, public static example some data with a int and a string b, something like this, just some static data stored somewhere. And then in code, then we would have you probably have globals dot example dot a or something. This, like, I would like to be able to refer to scriptable objects easily. Something equal to this. That would be amazing. So my SO attribute weight. If I could get my scriptable object weight by doing something like this, that would be amazing. But now I have to have a singleton where I drag and drop all of these and then fetch it in some way. Just not a big fan of that, but yeah, anyway. Yo, what's up, Emena Pro? We're still working on the action system. I think we cracked one little bit of a problem. We're going to see if we can implement it now. So is in state dependency. We already have type, we have fulfilled. Actually, I want to keep it like this. And this one want a state. State dependency. Type, state. And here we wanna do base, right? Type. Yeah, because this one needs to be a subclass of dependency. What have I missed? Yeah, we haven't implemented this one, but that's okay. This.state is equal to state. And then we add this method. And we want to overwrite. That's what it's called now. Emena Pro, cool trick you use in hierarchy. I don't know which trick you're referring to, but appreciate it. Yo, what's up, PG King? Good day. Is in state dependency, handle, action, reference, process, change. Yeah. That's one of the reasons we can't just go state. And this one, yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think we're gonna do like this. So as I mentioned previously that I want to avoid... I do really want to avoid having or sending out signals every time a state changes, right? Here. But if we want a dependency like this, we're gonna have to do it is in state dependency. Would it be too costly to have on state change? Okay, you know what? Fuck it. We're gonna do it. Is in state. If we need is in a specific state dependency later on, we're gonna implement it then. Is processing dependency. Is processing dependency. We don't need state then. We actually don't need anything here. We add on process. Now it's like we're only caring about on process change. Fucking hell, for each dependency here. Okay, let's see. On process change is processing dependency. Now it's pretty much like we're doing on process change. We're doing it for all of them, and maybe that's okay. Okay, let's do it like this. Add action reference. Action reference, add action reference. Okay. Is processing dependency, what do we have? I don't think we're gonna have this one here. On change, action reference, do we need to set this one here? No. Okay, so there's a lot of changes now, but I think this is it. Let's see. Add action reference. All dependencies are going to have add action reference. It's going to be fulfilled or not. And a type. Yeah. Is processing dependency. Add action reference. Yeah, okay, so it's this one. We do override here. And for this one, what we want to do is processing dependency. The only thing we want to check is turn action dot, or actually bool filled, but I want to say new or something like that. Fulfilled new is equal to action.state or we can just do they're equal. That would just return. Otherwise, fulfilled is equal to new or fulfilled new, and on change dot invoke this, I think. And we have it like this. What is it complaining about? There is no argument given that corresponds to the required parameter type of dependency. Type. Oh, yeah. We need to state Okay, so when we add this one, we do action on process change, add listener is action processing. Okay. So when this action goes to processing or leaves processing, then this dependency get notified, or we call this method and we check, do we have a change in processing? If so, we invoke on change here, because that means that this has either gone from fulfilled false to true or true to false. And that's one type of dependency. Then we have these two other types of dependencies. And I'm going to call it target is interactable dependency. Is target interactable? Is target interactable dependency. So that is the target in question a specific type of interactable? So it's fulfilled. And we're going to rename this one to interactable type, I think. And then we change this one to type. Oops. Type. And this one to interactable type. And we want to rename this. And it complains about that. Yeah. This one out. So we want to implement this one, add action reference. We don't want to check on action here. Instead, we want to have an action reference to the action, I reckon. So private action reference. Add action reference. I think we want to do it like this. And so here we just do action reference is equal to but then again, if we have something like this, it feels like we need to change, we need to wait for target. So that means that if we have a target here, we need to change this one. Oh, that sucks. Or, I mean, we could check it, we could poll it, but we want to push it. That's the whole idea. We just want to do this. But We want to have on target change. Feels like we're gonna send out a hell of a lot of different signals at all times. Filled. But we could also do, yeah. It might be a good idea to have I want this as a function. Is fulfilled. Then again, we want to push it. So it would be beautiful if target, if we can listen on target change. Oh, this is so annoying. I think I need to go back to the paper real quick. When it comes to this messaging system, I'm trying to implement it as dependencies currently. Would love if we could do it simple like that, but I don't think we can. But it feels sort of nice to have something like this. So if we take a look at action pickup, it has a dependency that focus needs to be... It has a dependency that focus needs to be processing. And it has a dependency that the target of focus needs to be interactable pickup. That's 2 dependencies. And then we also have the fact that we need to fetch the target from focus. I guess that I would say that those are the 3 dependencies. And the problem, or what's making it so hard to implement currently, is that the third one I mentioned, I'm not entirely sure I would define that as a dependency. It's more like a... I don't even know. Could you chain it? So could you actually chain it? So you create a dependency that is that checks if focus is processing. So that's a dependency that listens to process change in focus. If that one changes to is fulfilled, then our second dependency checks if that one is also fulfilled. Chaining dependencies. I guess, yeah, like you pretty much, you just have one dependency, but it consists of multiple sub-steps. Yeah, I think I'm overthinking stuff. Think. Oh well, the good news is that I've got a long weekend to think about this and hopefully get back with a battle plan on Monday, because I need to run now. We're gonna have to postpone this one. I think the point, I thought we had, like, I'm a little bit shocked by that fetching the target made it so much more complicated. But we will see what I come up with on this weekend. But we're gonna have to postpone this. I'm gonna give it another week as well. It depends on how long I can stream next week. Each session, that is. I'm gonna be optimistic and we're gonna set this one to Wednesday. But yeah, I need to run. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Have a great weekend. Hopefully I'll see you Monday. Peace.